Hi, Brad. So this is your land here that belongs to your family, or?
Yeah, since '89, since we stole it basically from the market.
From the market?
Well, it came up during the Olympics, so everyone was kind of paying attention to the Olympics when it was available. So what happened was we were able to get it for a very good price with very little competition in the bidding department.
And what attracted you to this land?
Well, really it was just having a good realtor at the right time, but once we got here and realized what we had gotten, it was just like unveiling a hidden treasure. It had all the elements that we could ever possibly want.
Yes.
In a land, a piece of land, like for instance, lots of water, plenty of trees and cover, and 3 different valleys flowing in 3 different directions, springs everywhere.
Now, water is a big feature for you, even in your work life.
Yeah, water has been the center point of my life, basically. It's how I make my living. It's how I characterize this land. It's more magnetic in nature, which is basically because it's so full of water and springs. It is abundant with energy and vortexes, and the electromagnetic energy that pours out of this place is pretty unbelievable. Yeah,
Beautiful.
It's quite the gem. Yeah, and there's a great history behind it. Native history. This is one of the last areas to get covered with ice during the last ice age, 11,000, 18,000 years ago. So basically it was a place where they kind of were still able to see the ground, and so it was the last place to get covered up and the first place to melt. So it's pretty much the central hub of this area in terms of where you can go to get sustenance and get away from the ice pack. So the scientists probably were a little baffled how the humans could have survived the whole last ice age, and I can see why living around here with the abundant life and sustenance.
Beautiful.
Well, that's all we've been able to come up with for a term is a water machine. I mean, I'm sure there was a name for it back in Atlantis, but it's based on technology that's very, very old. And it just uses a natural property that nature uses to purify water, which is running it through swirls and vortexes. But what it does is it mimics that function that the natural rhythms take to purify water, and it's hard to tell with this new one, but that's the opposite of this. That there's a central circular disc in which the water flows in the counterclockwise direction. And then you have an internal sphere here, and the water enters this sphere and travels in a clockwise direction. So as it's traveling clockwise, it's going in a downward motion and exiting out the bottom. So what you have is two counter-rotating fields of energy, in this case water, which create a third component, which is a electromagnetic field that radiates from this machine outward indefinitely. And the longer you let it run, the more it goes outward, until you really almost can't stand it anymore and you feel like you need to stop running. So that's how we determine our run cycles, because usually about 20 to 30 minutes is all you can take. The energy just gets so strong and intense. But it basically turns water into a more conscious, clear version of itself in an artificial sort of way. So it'll actually cause the water to cluster into microclusters, and in doing so, it sheds its pollution and its memory of the toxins that it's been exposed to, the chemicals and all that. So that's how it's supposed to work. I didn't invent it. It was a friend of mine in California, a very special person. Einstein-like intelligence, and he's gone on to invent even more things since this. That makes this sort of look like a kid's project, but I'm lucky to have it and be the guardian of it, and we're going to be doing some wonderful runs next summer when we get a few of them going at once.
Thank you. The last time that I was here on Brad's land was about 2 or 3 months ago, and when I returned to Jasper, I received information from a dimension that I like to tap into that said, draw this land, draw the connection that you have with this land, and I call it the space of love, and but it related to the water. So I drew this, and it took about 2 days to draw it. So as I drew it, I thought about the core of the water that helped me understand the vibration that was coming from the water here. And I also had visions of star people coming in here, and also the sensation of how we can connect up to the star people by spinning in a certain direction. So I also see that this may be telling me how I can spin my atoms in my body to spin upwards to move to other dimensions. And this is quite incredible. Now recently we've just come here back to the land, and I was just helping out in the kitchen and happened to see one of these little discs. And when I looked at it, I looked at our friend Keith and said, "Oh my God, look Keith, this looks like what we just drew." And he said, "Yeah, Brad just said it the other day," because he saw the vision when I took a picture on the phone. And so we were absolutely shocked that it was the same design, pretty well the similar essence. Well, guys, what do you think?
The star is born.